Las Vegas, a humid July night. Las Vegas, Nevada, a sweltering July night in 1972. It was nearly 11 at night when the lights of the Golden Crown Casino cut through the darkness outside, spilling onto the gambling tables inside. The mingled smell of cigarette smoke, expensive perfume, and liquor hung thick in the air. The ringing of slot machines, the shuffle of playing cards, and the murmurs of people at the tables all combined to create an atmosphere where time seemed to lose meaning. The casino floor was covered in red and gold carpet. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceilings, their light gleaming off the piles of dollars stacked on the tables below. Every night, someone tried their luck here. Someone won. Someone lost everything and walked out in silence. Bruce Lee was there that night too. Not for any particular reason, but simply to unwind with a friend after a meeting with a film producer. He wore simple black trousers and a light blue shirt. Nothing flashy, nothing showy. 5'7", roughly 135 pounds. A lean frame, but every movement carried a strange discipline. He stood near a small blackjack table waiting for his friend, a glass of water in hand, quietly taking in the surroundings. The Gambler, a name that had become a fear. At the same casino, at the roulette table, sat a man the staff and regular gamblers knew as Big Tony. His real name was Anthony Mariano, roughly 40 years old, 6'3", around 230 pounds, broad shoulders, a thick neck, gold rings on his fingers that caught the light with every movement. He came from a wealthy East Coast family where money had never been a problem, and no one had ever dared tell him no. Big Tony had been losing steadily for the past 3 hours. More than $50,000 had left his pocket, and the liquor had only soured his mood further. His voice grew louder, his words sharper with sarcasm and anger. The dealer, the waitress, and the other players nearby, all had become targets of his rudeness. The casino staff knew him and feared him too, because his family had business ties with the casino's owners. That was exactly why security hesitated to say anything. "Don't touch Big Tony. Just manage him," was the order that had come from above. After losing another hand, Big Tony slammed his fist on the table. Chips scattered everywhere. "This table is rigged," he shouted, his voice echoing across the hall. "You people are stealing. I want my money back." The dealer, a young woman named Karen, flinched backward in fear. "Sir, please calm down. I'll call the manager." "Call the manager. I'll show him too." Big Tony hurled his glass to the floor. Shards of glass scattered in every direction. The players nearby quietly stepped back. 2 security guards approached, tall, sturdy men, but their faces betrayed clear hesitation. "Sir, we're sorry, but you'll need to calm down a bit." Big Tony grabbed one guard by the collar. "You know who I am. My family could own this whole building if it wanted to. You don't even have the nerve to touch me." The guards exchanged a glance. Helplessness was plain on their faces. They knew that if they used force, they wouldn't have a job tomorrow. Big Tony's family was among the casino's investors. They kept trying to reason with him through words alone, but every attempt failed. Rudeness that crossed a line. Around the same time, a waitress passed by carrying a tray. Big Tony suddenly blocked her path. "Hey you, refill my glass, and quick about it." The waitress, named Lisa, reached for the glass with trembling hands. Big Tony suddenly slapped the tray, sending several glasses crashing to the floor. Liquor splashed onto her clothes. She was close to tears from shame and fear. "You people are all useless," Big Tony sneered. "Not a single person in this whole casino does their job right." That was the moment Bruce Lee, who had been quietly watching from a spot, stepped forward. There was no hurry in his walk, no visible anger, just a calm, purposeful stride. He stopped beside Lisa and crouched down, carefully gathering the broken glass so it wouldn't cut her feet. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. Lisa nodded, though her eyes were still wet. Big Tony looked at this small man picking glass shards off the floor. His anger now found a new direction. "Hey you, Chinese guy, this isn't your job. Get out of here." Bruce Lee stood up straight. His face was perfectly calm, but there was clear seriousness in his eyes. "This girl was just doing her job. She didn't bother you." Big Tony was stunned. Someone who looked half his size at that, had dared to talk back to him. "What did you say?" he said, stepping forward until he was right in front of Bruce. His shadow fell over him. The difference in height was obvious. 6'3" against 5'7". The eyes of everyone nearby were now fixed on the two of them. The crowd that had been backing away from Big Tony in fear moments earlier now drew closer out of curiosity. The security guards froze too, unsure what to do next. "I said," Bruce repeated calmly, "that girl did nothing wrong. If you have a problem, taking your anger out on her isn't the answer." A mocking smile spread across Big Tony's face. "You know what I could do, little man. I've handled 10 guys like you in a single night." He glanced at his companion, who stood nearby laughing. Security's helplessness. The head of security, a middle-aged man named Frank, finally approached. Sweat beaded on his forehead. "Sir, Mr. Lee, please step back. We'll handle this situation." Bruce glanced at Frank, then at Big Tony, who now grew even more furious at the sight of Frank. "Handle it." Big Tony shouted. "You people haven't handled anything for the past 3 hours. You don't even have the guts to touch me." With that, he shoved Frank hard in the chest. Frank stumbled backward into a nearby table. The other guards took a step forward but stopped, a glance, a signal, and they all understood that without orders from above, they could do nothing. That was the moment when the roughly 50 people in the hall saw that the entire casino system, for all its power, stood helpless before one rude, wealthy man. No one could do anything against him. Bruce Lee looked at Frank, then said quietly, "I'll handle it." Frank looked at the small man in surprise. "Sir, this isn't your problem. You could get hurt." Bruce gave a faint smile. Sometimes a person just needs to be shown that wealth and power are two different things. The challenge. Big Tony heard this and burst out laughing. "You're going to handle me? You?" Still laughing, he turned to the crowd. "Look at this little guy, talking about handling me." Whispers spread through the crowd. Some looked nervous, others curious. Bruce said nothing. He simply rolled up his sleeves slightly and stepped back twice, clearing some space. "Go ahead," he said simply. "If you think your size gives you the right to shove people around, show me." Big Tony's face flushed red. His ego had been challenged, and in public, in front of 50 people. Without warning, he swung his right arm forward to shove Bruce's shoulder hard. The same move that had worked on the guard and everyone else. The move that had always worked. But this time, the hand never reached its target. 7 seconds. What happened in the next few moments happened so fast that witnesses later gave differing accounts. But the core of it was clear to everyone. In the first moment, Bruce's left hand met Big Tony's wrist, not to block it, but to nudge its path slightly. So gently it looked like a breath of wind had turned it aside. The shove ended in empty air, inches short of its target. In the second moment, Bruce shifted slightly to the side, slipping under Big Tony's arm, moving in close. Close enough that Big Tony's size no longer offered any advantage. In the third moment, Bruce's right hand moved forward with light pressure against Big Tony's elbow. No hard punch, no dramatic motion, just a precise, controlled point of pressure that made the elbow joint straighten involuntarily. In the fourth moment, Big Tony's balance had already broken. His weight had shifted onto his front foot, and at that exact instant, Bruce's foot gave that front foot a slight nudge. In the fifth moment, Big Tony's 230-pound frame swayed, balance completely gone. In the sixth moment, Bruce's hand came to his shoulder to control the speed of the fall, so he wouldn't get hurt. In the seventh moment, Big Tony, Las Vegas's notorious Big Tony, lay on his back on the casino carpet, completely under control. Bruce's knee rested lightly on his chest, and his right hand hovered near his throat, touching, but applying no pressure. The entire hall fell silent. Even the ringing of the slot machines seemed to pause. 50 people, who moments earlier had been afraid of Big Tony's rage, now watched in astonishment. A man nearly twice his size and weight, lying on the ground, completely helpless. Silence and a sense of shame. Bruce slowly withdrew his hand, stepped back, and gave Big Tony room to get up. His face showed no pride, no mockery, just the same calm expression he'd had from the start. Big Tony lay on the ground for a moment, catching his breath. His face held a mix of shame and disbelief. He slowly sat up, then stood. His ring-covered hand was now trembling. Frank, the head of security, stepped forward, but Bruce gave a small gesture to stop him. Bruce spoke to Big Tony in a quiet voice. Your strength isn't in the size of your body. Your real strength is in how you treat others. Tonight you lost that. Big Tony looked at him. For the first time, there was something other than anger in his eyes. Maybe shame, maybe wonder. Who are you? He asked in a low voice. My name is Bruce Lee. Hearing the name, whispers rippled through the crowd. A young couple standing nearby glanced at each other. That's the one, the movie guy, one murmured. Big Tony took a deep breath. His eyes went to Lisa, still standing near the broken glasses, then to Frank, whom he'd just shoved. An apology. After a few moments of silence, Big Tony slowly walked toward Lisa. I'm sorry, he said, his voice stripped of its earlier arrogance. I was wrong. Lisa looked at him in surprise, then nodded. Big Tony looked at Frank too. You deserve an apology as well. I went too far. Frank tried to say something, but couldn't find the words. He just nodded. The casino manager, who had been watching from behind the crowd, stepped forward. He thanked Bruce and told Big Tony he would need to leave the casino for the night. Surprisingly, Big Tony nodded without protest. As he was leaving, he paused once more near Bruce. I thought my size, my money, gave me the right to everything, he said quietly. Tonight I learned that isn't true. Bruce looked at him. Power doesn't mean you get to push people around. Real strength is what lets you treat others with respect. Someone who relies only on their body or their money will, sooner or later, run into someone who has something more than both, understanding. Big Tony nodded silently, then walked slowly toward the door, for the first time that night, without any arrogance. Later that night, the hall gradually returned to its usual rhythm. The sound of slot machines rang out again. Dealers went back to their work, but some still watched Bruce in astonishment as he quietly returned to his spot, as if nothing had happened. Frank came up to him. Mr. Lee, I've never seen anything like that. You didn't even hurt him. Bruce smiled. The goal was never to hurt him. It was just to show him that his behavior was wrong. If I'd hurt him, I'd have made the same mistake he did, misusing power. Frank nodded. How do you stay so calm? When you believe in yourself, Bruce said. You don't need anger. Anger is a sign of weakness, not strength. That night, as the story spread among the casino staff and guests, everyone told it a little differently. Some said Bruce had taken on 3 opponents at once. Others said Big Tony had pulled a knife. That's how a simple event slowly becomes legend. But the people who were actually there knew the real story. That it wasn't about violence at all, but about discipline, self-respect, and quiet confidence. The lesson. As she was leaving, Lisa thanked Bruce. You didn't have to stand up for me. Bruce answered softly. When someone bullies someone weaker, it becomes everyone's problem. Staying silent is also a choice, and sometimes the wrong one. Frank added, I wish we could resolve things that calmly too. Bruce placed a hand on his shoulder. Strength isn't the method, understanding is. Next time a situation like this comes up, remember, staying calm is itself a form of strength. Standing calmly in front of someone who's raging often has more effect than words or force ever could. That night, as Bruce walked out of the casino onto the bright streets of Las Vegas, his friend, who had watched the whole thing unfold from a distance, caught up with him. You took a big risk tonight. That guy was twice your size. Bruce smiled. Size is just a number. What really matters is how deeply you understand what you're doing and why. And what if he'd actually been dangerous? Bruce was quiet for a moment, then said, even then, staying silent wasn't the answer. Sometimes a person just has to decide what they're willing to stand up for. The two of them walked on in silence through the night lights, the glow of the casino, fading slowly behind them. But the lesson of that night stayed lit for a long while in the minds of those left behind. That real strength isn't in the body, but in character. And sometimes the greatest victory is the one won without hurting anyone. Note, this is a completely fictional story, fan fiction. Bruce Lee appears here as a character, but the event, dialogue, and all details are products of the writer's imagination, not a real historical event. Please read it as fan fiction, not as fact.